About 3 weeks ago, I did a video having a look at a Dell XPS pre-built, which didn't go very well. Not only did it not have dual channel RAM in it, despite me specifically speccing up that option, but it also had a much worse CPU cooler on it than the marketing material showed, which meant that the CPU ran a little bit toasty. So we decided to give Dell's customer support a test drive to see if they can fix the problems we were having. Not only did they not fix it, but they somehow hilariously managed to actually make the system perform worse than it did in its stock configuration. But before we get into that, we have a sponsor for today's video, Linode. Today's video is sponsored by Linode, which is a powerful and affordable Linux-based cloud computing service which is very easy to use. Linode has a large marketplace with fully configured one-click apps for whatever use case you need Linux-based web servers for, be it WordPress development and hosting. If you're new to self-hosting apps, check out Cloudron, which is like a marketplace inside Linode's marketplace. Some tasty marketception right there. Cloudron comes with over 100 cloud apps to test on your servers, all installed through a simple web UI. They also have a variety of game server hosting options for you scrubs out there. And considering that we're currently mid-scalpocalypse and physical hardware is very difficult to get your hands on, if you have heavy compute applications, Linode offers affordable options for that, be it CPU-intensive, RAM-intensive, or GPU-intensive workloads. And when it comes to GPU compute loads, Linode's not messing around. They're using NVIDIA Quadro RTX 6000 series GPUs for the max horsepower possible. If this sounds good to you, sign up using the link in my description below for a $100 60-day credit. Now, to kick things off, we did actually figure out why we got the incorrect RAM configuration in the Dell XPS that we bought. And ironically, it all started off with Dell's customer support. Now, remember in the first video, I said that we had issues with the payment method, so we actually had to use customer support to update to a different credit card. Now, in the process of doing that, they actually had to cancel the first order and then resubmit the order with a new payment method. And in the process of doing that, the person resubmitted the order with 1x16 gig as opposed to the 2x8 gig configuration that I spec'd up in the first order. However, that doesn't explain the fact that we got a worse cooler on the system. That was just due to incorrect marketing on Dell's website. Now, immediately after I posted that video about Dell doing me dirty, I actually got an email from a Dell representative asking if they could fix the problem for us. And I told them, thank you very much for your concern, but I want to deal with this in the way that a normal customer would have to deal with it. So please don't flag our customer support queries and stuff like that. And I was a bit worried that they would flag it so that we get preferential treatment or whatever, but considering how the whole process went, that definitely didn't happen. Now, about 2 weeks after this, a delay that happened because Anna and I took some time off, we decided to venture back into Dell's customer support, starting off with an online ticket with Dell's customer care because we didn't actually want to have to call them. After about 15 minutes of typing on Dell's customer care online support ticket system, they actually told us that we had to call technical support because there's overheating happening in the system and that's their problem to deal with. At which time I asked Anna to please make this phone call, considering that she was somebody that wasn't as technically versed as I was. Well, after 15 minutes of explaining the issue on the actual tech support line, the tech support person told Anna to call customer care, which again was what the initial support ticket was about, because they were the ones that can help us with an incorrectly fulfilled order. And then it took about 30 minutes of explaining to the lady on the other line what the actual issue was, because she didn't understand that there was a difference between 8 times 2 and 16 times 1. To her, they both equal 16, and why is there an issue? Which is understandable. I mean, the fact that she doesn't know what the difference between dual and single channel is, I guess it's kind of forgivable, but that doesn't change the fact that the order was incorrect. So yes, after actually establishing the fact that there was something wrong with the order in the first place, which again took about 30 minutes, she said that our only option was to just refund the system and then buy another one with the correct configuration in it. But before processing a refund, she actually transferred Anna to her supervisor that said that they could give us a coupon for Dell's website to buy another 16 gig stick, which would have been pretty cool because it meant we would have gotten 32 gigs of RAM as opposed to the 16 that we paid for. The problem is that Dell charges $320 for a single 16 gig stick of RAM, which is completely outrageous. And according to the supervisor, each order is just eligible for a $100 coupon to fix whatever mistake with. So they had to get a confirmation from their financial department okaying the $300 coupon that we'd need to buy the RAM, which wouldn't cover the complete cost. We'd still have to pay an extra bit to get just a single 16 gig stick of RAM, which is completely outrageous. But they told us that they'll submit this query with the finance department and they'll get back to us after 2 days. So at this point we thought, cool, we may actually have had the RAM issue resolved and it didn't take that long, but then we asked again about the actual overheating issue, where the supervisor said that this was a technical support issue because it was a hardware-based problem. We were already transferred by technical support, but we thought, okay, we'll give them another call. Anna then called Dell's technical support for the second time that day, explaining the problem that the system was overheating, and when we finally opened up the system, we saw that the CPU cooler was significantly smaller than the one that they showed on their website, and can we maybe get a better cooler for our i7? And this is what he said.
Any way that we can, that the cooler that's on the website,
No, miss. It is not like that. It may be possible that the picture which is there on the internet is a new picture, and the cooler which is there in the computer is an old one. So don't worry about it. Each and everything is good on the computer. Don't worry about that, because we have a different cooler for different models, different configuration. Like in the same model, like the desktop which you have 8940. Some customers buy i3 processor, but you have i7 processor, a heavy one processor, right? So for that, we just change the assembly according to the configuration of a computer, so that it will get the complete compatibility would be there.
The system's clearly not okay, it's overheating and it's not boosting properly. But anyway, the guy said that they can't send us a new cooler, they'd have to change some stuff on the system to fix the problem. So what they told Anna to do was go into the BIOS, they explained to her how to do that and how to find Intel's Turbo Boost option and switch that off. Which basically means that the CPU then doesn't boost above its base frequency at all anymore, so that's going to reduce the performance a lot. We'll get into what effect all of these changes had later on. I did some benchmarks to compare, and then after that he team viewed onto the system and then just did a bunch of driver updates and whatever to try and fix the problem. At which point he said that we should call back if there is a problem again, but this should have fixed it. Now, he wasn't technically wrong, he did fix the overheating issue, because as you can see here, the CPU temperatures with Battlefield 5 running is significantly lower, but the CPU is just running at 2.8 gigahertz, so obviously it's gonna run cooler. That's like saying that, oh, this athlete has a problem with becoming too hot while running the race, so let's just cut one of his legs off, because then he won't overheat while running anymore. Yes, but he's not going to be able to compete as an Olympic athlete anymore, so you've just made the problem worse. Now, I actually did some benchmarks comparing the system running with Turbo Boost on versus Turbo Boost off, and you're looking at about another 30% performance loss. Now, this brings us to the end of day one, which involved many phone calls, and it took about 2 hours to finish the whole process. And then we waited to hear back from Dell about the coupon for the extra RAM stick, which didn't happen. So a week later, we called them back, asking Dell's customer care what was going on, and the person said that, well, that actual request for a coupon was never placed by the supervisor. At which point, the lady on the phone said that they'll not resubmit, but they'll actually submit the request, and then we'll hear back in 24 to 48 hours. As of filming this video, we still haven't heard back, so I don't know how that's gonna go. So I'll pin a comment below this video if they do actually send us the coupon and we can actually buy a 16 gig stick of RAM to fix the system with. I'm really not holding my breath, but I'll let you know what happens with that. But that still leaves the technical support side of the issue unresolved. Our Dell system's legs were still cut off, so we decided to call back technical support and tell them that yes, the system's no longer overheating, but it's now running a lot slower than it was while it was overheating, which clearly isn't a good sign. At which point the technical support guy just told us to go into the BIOS BIOS and run a diagnostic, and then after that update the drivers again, the same way that the first person did, which we knew wasn't going to do anything. The problem with the overheating is hardware based, it's not software based. After explaining that to the technical support person, his response was, well, if it's an incorrect hardware configuration issue, that's a sales issue, not tech support. So this is a week later and they're sending us to another different department. So we thought, okay, let's just call the sales department and see what they have to say. And after explaining the issue to the sales department, their response was, well, we can't do anything about this problem. We can only finalize orders and help you buy stuff. We can't fix problems. You need to call customer support for that. At which point we both just rage quit. Anna and I was like, no, we are done with this. This was 7 calls later and they still haven't resolved anything. They're just sending us around to different departments until we rage quit. This customer service experience was unacceptable. Dell, if you're watching this video, which you may actually be, you need to fix this because this is not good. And this isn't an isolated experience either. If you Google Dell Canada, it has a 1.7 star review out of 430 something reviews, which is the lowest score I think I've ever seen before. And every single one of those reviews is somebody complaining about how they get sent on a wild goose chase from department to department, never actually having their problem resolved for them. So this is clearly a deep issue with their corporate structure around customer support. So with that, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe to the channel for more videos, hopefully not like this one. And until the next video, bye bye.